talking about affirmations lately, and affirmations are words that you say to yourself, and they're words that are said in the positive present tense. Like you say words like, I can, I am able, I have, I produce. You get what I'm saying? It's all about I. Who is I? I am are the most powerful words you can ever use or say. Repeat the following affirmations that we're gonna say some affirmations here. The goal is to allow them to seep through and begin to shape your belief system. What you believe, what you repeat to yourself, how you talk to yourself, and this will become your perception. So we're going to go over some affirmations right now. And it's best to do these affirmations when you are in a relaxed place that you don't have a lot of interruptions. And if you can close your eyes, even better. So you limit the amount of distractions around you. Okay, here we go. I am a powerful words when said in a declaration can help reshape your mindset and focus your intentions. I am strong. I am capable. I am resilient. I am deserving of success and happiness. I am a magnet for positive energy and opportunity. I am confident in my ability and I believe in my uniqueness. I am surrounded by love and I radiate love in return. I am the architect of my life. I build its foundation and choose its contents. I am worthy of all the good things life has got to offer. I am constantly evolving and becoming a better version of myself. I am in control of my thoughts and I choose positivity. I am courageous and step outside my comfort zone with confidence. I am aligned with the energy of abundance. I am at peace with my past, present, and future. I am a source of inspiration for others. I am disciplined, focused, and determined to achieve my goals. I am healthy. I am whole. I'm complete in my mind, body, and spirit. I am open to new adventures and embrace change with enthusiasm. I am grateful for the abundance that flows into my life. I am a beacon of life and I attract positivity into every situation. I am free from worry and I trust that everything is unfolding as it should be. Take a moment to reflect on these affirmations. Repeat them regularly with feelings and belief, allowing them to shape a positive and an empowering mindset. And your belief will create your reality. Reflect on those affirmations. Download my affirmations. I have this particular affirmations that I just gave you. I have it on a digital form. You can download them for free. Send me a request, email or text me or inbox me, and I'll send you this affirmation. This is the beautiful sunset. It's hard to see it on camera, but looking at it live is amazing. So affirmations are basically words that we say and we say to ourselves how we see our reality, what we make our reality, which is based on our belief systems. Perception is how we see the world around us, how we shape our reality based on how we see events, things we hear, things we see, things we feel, because your thoughts controls your feeling or your thoughts shapes your feelings and your feelings produces the result. The actions come from feelings. Feelings produces results. The results are the expressions of your thinking, your thought process. So download my affirmations, listen to them over and over. What you tell yourself is very important. How you speak to yourself is very important. I was talking recently to someone about self-love, and we had this whole conversation about self-love. Most people think they love themselves, no doubt. We all think that way. But you begin to understand that self-love has a lot to do with how you talk to yourself. If you find yourself saying things like, I am stupid, I am not smart, how could I make that mistake? I am not even worthy, I am dumb. Anything you talk about yourself and to yourself in a negative way has a lot to do with how you love yourself. It tells a lot about how, if you love yourself, because when you love yourself, regardless of errors and mistakes you make, you are kind to yourself. You talk to yourself in a nice way, in an endearing way. So self-love has a lot to do with our perception of ourselves. Why do I talk about self-love? Self-image is the foundation to everything else we do in life. To whether you lose weight, how you lose weight, how do you talk to yourself about your weight? Again, I said a word about losing weight. You don't talk about losing weight. You don't talk about loss when you want to manifest or attract anything or change anything in your life. You don't talk about loss. You talk about the goal you want, what you want. You focus on what you want. You talk about that, what you want. That's what you attract. Because what you talk about, the mind is creating a picture, an image of what you talk about. So persistent focus on what you want is how we attract what we want. So you want to attract an ideal weight. You talk about your ideal weight. You take pictures of your ideal weight and you look at that picture of your ideal weight. You focus on your ideal weight. That is how the law of attraction works. And that's the whole focus of affirmations. So affirmations help to rewrite some of the subconscious programming that we did not even sign up for as kids. Most kids grew up with parents telling them things like, money does not grow on trees. And I think the worst most parents say is, do you think I money? Do you think I piss money? Those are the kind of words some of us grew up with or hearing, or even oftentimes parents go even further to say things to shame the child, like, why don't you go and make your own money or get a job? Yeah, most parents tell kids, get a job. And very well that the kid is not of an age to get a job, but you say stuff like that to shut them down, to control, and to manipulate. And also, oftentimes, parents use something they call suggestions. These suggestions, they subliminally use suggestions to control a child. We all grew up from this kinds of programming by our parents. And that is what affirmations help us to change those subliminal or subconscious programming that we didn't even sign up for. We just happen to come from those homes, parents, or environment, societies, cultures, that some things are just very common. Some societies, they say things like, if you don't go to school, you're not going to be successful. If you don't go to school, you're not going to have any money. You're going to be dumb, stupid, and homeless. Those are the kinds of programming some parents use on their kids, or we grew up in some of those kinds of programming. If you're not a lawyer, you will not have money. If you're not a doctor, if you're not a this, if you're not a that, if you're not a, all kinds of limitations were put in front of us already. All kinds of programming has already gone in by our caregivers. So your ability to become conscious of what you are doing, what you're saying, how you were doing it, how you were talking to yourself, the conversations that's going on in your head on a regular basis. We can start to observe those words that we say to ourselves by journaling. Journaling is a very good way to observe the words that we use. So do this exercise. Take this example. If you consciously start your day and tell yourself that today I will only say positive things about myself. I will only speak of and I will only think of positive things about myself. First of all, your body will almost go into a shock or a panic mode because that is not how you talk to yourself. So your subconscious mind is almost going to be doubtful. That some people can go into a shock just thinking that alone. Going further and taking a notepad and paper. Another good way to do it is to use your phone, your recorder in your phone. Each time you say a word or you catch yourself saying a negative word, say it in your voice recorder in your phone. All iPhones have that, and Android phones have recorders. So record that word. That's another way to journal. If you record it, what I found is very easy for me most times is to write on a piece of paper with pen and paper. You write those words, and at the end of the day, review how you spoke to yourself, what you said to yourself, how you thought for that day. Making this observation is a very powerful exercise. Stuff like this is not easy, but this practice helps to become aware. See, the whole process of empowering ourselves is becoming aware. And awareness is simply paying attention and noticing. Awareness is seeing what has always been there. Journaling helps your awareness, helps the process of becoming aware of what you're doing, how you're talking to yourself, how you're thinking. See, oftentimes it's harder to say encouraging things to ourselves on a consistent basis because our thought process, which is where all the speech comes from, which is because your mind, you have to think of something before you say the words. So it makes a whole lot of sense when you start understanding how your thought process is shaping your speech. Your speech is controlling your feelings. Your feelings is controlling your results. Take, for example, when you wake up in the morning and maybe you had made a conscious decision the night before to go work out at the gym, but you wake up in the morning and you say things like, I can't work out. I am tired. I'm too tired to work out. That word alone is so disempowering that your whole brain, your body goes into, I am too tired. I can't work out. I'm weak. I'll just do it tomorrow. But if you shift, just a small shift, you wake up, the first thought comes in, oh, it's cold. It's not a good day. It's raining. Maybe I should just stay home and I can't go work out. And you tell yourself, I can work out. I can do it. I can. Just try that. Say I can 10 times when you wake up and you want to get started. Just say I can 10 times. I can. That simple exercise, that simple practice alone puts your brain in a mode to go, to do. You start seeing possibilities of how you can get that thing done. Same thing with kids that have homework or school projects. They have deadlines to meet. Because the first thought or instinct will be, you want to come up with a whole bunch of reasons why you shouldn't do your homework or meet your deadline. But when you tell yourself, I can get it done, I can, that activates the brain to do. This process works in every area of our lives. So download affirmations, learn how to focus your thinking and your speech and your thought process mixed with your spoken word could be very empowering. It's a lot of power. Okay, before I wrap up this evening, I'm just going to give a couple more examples of things that we say to ourselves and think is okay, think it's nothing, think it's just normal. So a couple of the things we say to ourselves and that really shapes and affects the way we see and operate in life are, let me see this example. What a beautiful cloud, beautiful setting. Nature is just beautiful, wonderful. The breeze, the air is amazing. Some of the things we say that is very negative are, I can't win. I hate my job. I hate to speak in front of people. I can't focus. I argue with my spouse. We even go as far as saying, I argue with my spouse all the time. I argue with my boyfriend. I argue with my girlfriend. I argue with my wife. I argue with my husband. I argue with my kids. I argue with my this. I argue with my that. I can't lose weight. I never have enough money. I can't cope with my child. I can't make my business grow. Those are common words that we say and we toss them out oftentimes just casually, like it's okay. But when you start to observe and become aware of the words that you're saying to yourself on a consistent, regular basis, and pick any of those categories. If I mention some things that you say on a regular, pick one of them. If I didn't say something you normally use, write what you say down at the beginning of the day as that is my homework. That is what I will focus on today. This is my assignment. And observe how you talk to yourself, how many times in the day you say those words. When you say those words, what was the trigger point? What preceded you saying that? Did somebody say something that made you say that? Did you see something? Was it something that came on TV or you heard on the radio or somebody said in a conversation? Basically, you just find or pay attention to know what triggered that. Was it you just, some people say it just came from nowhere. So if it just came from nowhere, it's coming from subconscious programming. Oftentimes it's coming from the programs that was written before you were 7 years of age. So those are programming that happened without your consent because of your caregivers, your environment that you grew up in, the cultural, what was acceptable, what was normal at that time. When you start paying attention, you know what to work on now. So you start working on changing them. And just like habits are not easy to change because they were not easy to form. So if they were not easy to form, they have to be changed, not in a very easy way, by repetition, by constant practice, by repeating and doing and doing and doing. Just like when you want to tone your muscles, you go to the gym. You go to the gym over and over and over and over and over and over again. You go to the gym, you don't go one time and you have this amazing body. No, you go days, weeks, months, and oftentimes years to get that ideal body. Same as business. When you start any new business, your business goes through a process. You don't go from zero to whatever amount of money you want to make. You don't go from 0 to 1 million overnight. If you go from 0 to 1 million overnight, you probably just crash from 1 million to 0 overnight because it's a process. It's a process. It's a process. It's a learning, and the process, the activity, the learning, the failures, the success, the small wins, the multiple crises that you have to overcome. That's the teaching, the learning, the grinding, the mastering, the shaping you to become the ideal business person, the ideal successful person. That is how you're implanting the blueprint. And once you have the blueprint for business growth, that is what we call success. Because now you've mastered how things work, how to make things work. And then you can repeat that process anywhere with any other kind of business, with any other kind of niche or genre. It's a process. Repetition and conditioning your mind for success is a practice, is repetition helps you to shape your thought process, your thinking. And once your thinking falls aligned with your feelings, you begin to become a master of your emotions, mastering your emotions. This way, you can predict every outcome of your life. You predict your results because you are in control of everything. You are not pointing the finger at somebody else for every mishap, every negative things. Humans are interesting. Humans don't like any blame. Humans are very fearful of blame. But once you start taking accountability and mastering how you think, how you talk, the result of your life, all blaming is gone. All pointing the finger at somebody else is gone. All belief in your result or the outcome of your life being in the hands of the deity, of a super power, of a being someplace else, invisible place goes away because you now understand that man is the creator of himself. He's the maker of his destiny. What we call as destiny is nothing but the unconscious actions, unconscious thoughts that we make daily. If it is successful, we say is destiny. If it's unsuccessful, we say it is fate or misfortune. But destiny, let's go back to the law of sowing and reaping, or the law of increase, which says that when you sow an act, you reap a habit. When you sow a habit, you reap a character. When you sow a character, you reap a destiny. Destiny comes from the acts that you sowed in the very beginning that ended up becoming a habit, that ended up becoming a character, and now your destiny. So who made that destiny? You, from the acts that you sowed. So everything starts from the thinking process, how you process that thought process. There's another thing I'm going to go into soon. I will talk about how perceptions are formed, because it's easy to have a perception, but how were they formed? How did that happen? Perceptions comes from, I've explained this over and over, and I'm going to explain this real quick. Perceptions come from subconscious programming by our parents, by how programs were written as a child. It comes from our belief system. So as we grow up, we start experiencing things, and those experiences form our perception, because our experiences form our belief system. We now believe in what we've experienced, and those experiences begin to shape our perception. And let's say, for example, as we do this as children, when a child puts his hand or her hand in a fire, in something that burns that child, the child up to a certain age will know to move away from the pain. That experience has shaped that child's life about fire, or putting their finger in anything that will cause or remotely look like what caused that pain. That's an experience. As adult, oftentimes we try one business, and if that business does not succeed because we didn't find out how a business works, or we didn't do our research, even if you did everything right that you could do, you dotted the I's, crossed the T's, but crisis happened, maybe due to the economy, or a lot of people use this excuse today, COVID happened. Let's say there was a major crisis and things fell apart and you didn't succeed. Oftentimes, most people give up. And that experience of not succeeding has shaped their perception about businesses. So they end up sticking back to what they know best, which is their job. Regardless of how miserable they are in that job, they tend to hold on dearly to it. So you see how people's perception about life and things begin to formulate. even in relationships, oftentimes of people go through relationships, and because of their experience about a relationship, maybe it's a broken relationship due to a lot of arguments and quarrels and fights, that shapes some people's perception about relationships. So they begin to judge every other kind of relationship based on their failure or the unsuccessful relationship that they have. So changing your perception about relationship is the key to having a successful relationship. When you change your perception on how you look at relationship, if you start looking at relationships now as a good thing, as a possibility that you will explore, as a possibility that I have to become the kind of person that I'm seeking for in the other mate, in my mate, in a man or woman. I have to become that person. If I want a loving man, I have to be loving. If I want a caring man, I have to be caring. If I want a rich man, I have to be rich. If I want a loyal wife, I have to be loyal. If I want a loyal husband, I have to be loyal. I have to be a loyal husband. Whatever you want in a mate has to be something that you are also bringing to the relationship. And the beautiful thing about relationship is you can only paint the picture about what you want because that's what you have control over. You cannot paint a picture about what the man should want. I've heard people tell me things like, I want a man to see a woman like me and want me because I am this. I am hardworking. I am giving. I am caring. I am this. You focus on yourself. Focus on who you need to be, what you need to be to have what you want to have. So focus on what you can be, to do, to have. And focus on that alone because that's what you have 100% control. Let the universe bring the man that you desire to you and make that person be who they need to be to have a person like you. So when you create your perception, your ideal guy or girl, you focus on that. Your ideal guy or girl is also focusing on his ideal guy or girl. So his ideal guy or girl that he has created by himself without your permission now comes together. So his ideal guy, your ideal guy now comes together through serendipities, synchronicities, or another new word I just learned is serendestiny. Things start happening. The destiny, the serendipities, and the synchronicities just happen. And that's how we say, oh, I just met this wonderful guy from when I wasn't even looking, from nowhere. It just happened. I was in the elevator. I was at the park the other day. I was running. Oftentimes, this kind of things happen when we are doing what we enjoy, what we love doing anyways. So you're living your life because you know that you have defined what you want and you've left it to a higher power. You've left it to the attraction, the law of attraction. You've created and set things in motion. So the law of attraction begins to work and synchronicities and serendipities begin to happen and things just happen effortlessly. That's what we call flow. It's a flow. Flow means there's no stress, no impediments or obstacles in the way. So it's easier. All right. Download my affirmations videos. Play them over and over and over and over and over and over. The key is to get your subconscious mind to the point where you start thinking effortlessly about success. You start thinking effortlessly about being positive. You don't even have to think about being positive. Positivity is now your nature. It's now your person. It's now who you are. Okay, practice your affirmations. Say your affirmations. Have your night routine, your morning routine. Morning routine is how you start your day. Night routine is how you end your day because it's very important to have a routine. I have daily routine affirmations. And I think I have daily and night routine affirmations to give away on my Affirmations channel. And I just created affirmations for a woman looking for a man. an affirmation for a man looking for a woman. That will be out this week. I have a 3-minute version, 3 to 5 minute version, a 1 hour version, then 3 hour version, and 7 hour version. Those are versions you can play overnight for reprogramming your subconscious mind while you sleep. So pretty much like how hypnosis works. Hypnosis is things that are happening subconsciously, and when you wake up, you play them over and over, you find yourself being that positive person you're looking for, that person that has the mindset of a winner's mindset. Why don't you try it? Instead of saying all this, maybe, if, maybe, give it a try. Why don't you just give it a try? Thank you very much. All right, find Enhanced Perception Podcast, share, like, join my community, subscribe to the community. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Life is good. Life is very beautiful. Enhance your perception. Keep thinking. Keep planning. Keep working. Keep the positive energy. Keep affirming. Keep doing. Keep believing. Just keep it going. Keep doing it. Enhance your perception. We help you reframe your perception and shift your reality in Enhanced Perception Podcast. That's my goal, to help you reframe your perception and therefore you can rewrite your reality. Thank you very much. I am out.